Sentire Media.
Ciao a tutti and welcome to Venice Talks, a podcast series dedicated to Venice in Italy. I'm your host, Monica Cesarato, a Venetian food and travel blogger. Join me as I share my insider knowledge to help you explore Venice at 360 degrees. In this weekly podcast, we'll dive into the heart of a city, uncovering hidden stories and connecting with the people who make Venice unique. The artisans, the writers, the fashion designers, the bloggers, the journalists, and more. Let's break free from cliché and discover the true essence of Venice, not just the monuments, but the vibrant people, the Venetians. Experience Venice the right sustainable way. You can find me on my blog at www.monicacesarato.com and across all social media platforms. Enjoy the episode and let's journey through Venice together. Welcome back to Venice Talks, Season 2, Episode 1. Hi everybody and welcome back to the second season of Venice Talks. Today is the first episode of the second season and of course I had to start with a special guest. He is a very famous Venetian writer, he's a journalist, he's always on TV, he's the storyteller of Venice. Ciao Alberto Toso Fei, how are you?
Ciao Monica, I'm fine, thank you. And
Okay.
hi everybody.
And I was gonna say a lot more, but then I would have spent 20 days introducing you. So I thought, no, I'll cut it short. So the other day we met and we decided I decided, you just very kindly agreed to.
Yeah.
We wanted to do a new episode talking about the primates of Venice, the Guinness of World of Records of Venice. So, what have you got ready for me? Where do you want to start?
A lot of stuff, as you can imagine.
I know. I'm not sure that one episode is enough.
I would start telling you and all the people that's listening now that everybody of us is speaking Venetian.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean, those amongst you
Yes.
who may have lived in Venice or who understand the language or try to understand what one gondolier might say to another, as they pass in the canal. I mean, really everyone. This is because throughout her history, Venice has ended up becoming a wonderful meeting point and an exchange ground of cultures, people, knowledge, food, customs, to the point that some of these customs that were created or transformed in Venice have become part of a heritage of the entire world.
Absolutely.
For instance, sometimes you express yourself in Venetian, but you just don't know.
Of course.
I do not mean you, Monica. I mean,
Yeah, of course. I know you mean the people that are listening.
You
Yes.
speak Venetian, so but also
Well, actually, as you know, I don't speak proper Venetian. I speak countryside Venetian.
Yeah,
okay. That's another long story.
Anyway, we are normally we speak one each other. We communicate in our mother language. Yeah.
Yes.
But what I mean is that every day, even when writing a post on Instagram or a message on WhatsApp in the whole world, everyone is using something that was invented in Venice. For example, the full stop that provides to the conclusion of every sentence.
Okay, right. Now, this is interesting. I thought you were going to start with something else, but this is very interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So the full stop, the comma, the accent, the apostrophe, the semicolon, as we are intended in their modern form, because also during the Roman Empire they were in use, but were used for the first time, in their modern form in Venice.
Wow, I didn't know this.
Not the press, of course, but was a stroke of Gutenberg's genius. But the punctuation, that helps us to read and write better, was invented in Venice.
What time frame?
Throughout the entire 1500 century.
Okay, 15th century, yeah.
Venice was the capital of book. At least half of the books printed in Europe were published in Venice during that century.
Mm-hmm.
The first Talmud was printed in 1526, the first Quran in 1538, but also the first book in Armenian, as well as the first book in Cyrillic, and so on. This was so the punctuation in the way we know it is a stroke of sorry, I'm forgetting the name, but it's not possible. Is Aldo Manuzio.
Okay.
Aldo Manuzio was not Venetian. He was born in a small place, not
Well,
far.
Alberto, not everybody can be perfect. So,
But
that's the
in
only food we
Venice,
give you.
had the opportunity to experiment and develop his intuition. Also, for example, the cursive script was invented by him.
Yes.
And it's for this reason that in every computer in the world, in the entire world, it is called italic.
Ah, okay. See, that's another thing I didn't know. Okay,
And
there is a plaque. There is a plaque of Manuzio in is it Santa Croce?
Santa Agostino, Santa Agostino.
Sì, okay, Santa Agostino.
It's the Venetian area in which his song has their
The press.
the typography and the house, but
Okay.
it's in the same place, of course. But Venice, why he that was not Venetian invented a lot of stuff, for Venetians, because Venice acted this way. She had the ability, to attract, smelt, and turn Venetian anything potentially innovative.
And potentially money making too.
Yep. We have got a document, and so we are just entering in the first time in history. There is an official document dated March 19, 1474.
Okay.
That is going to tell something like this. There are many men in this city and in her vicinity, many men of diverse origins with ingenious minds and capable of imagining. Try to imagine. It's a document of the second half of the 15th century in which there is the word imagining,
Wow.
related to the mind of man, imagining and discovering different artful objects.
Wow.
And if it were possible that others cannot reproduce these works and the artifices invented by them, then these men would use their minds to discover very useful things for our republic. So in March 19, 1474, Venice invented the patent.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's unbelievable. But it's the difference between Venice and Florence, isn't it? I mean, Florence was, arts. We all know that. And that's where they invested because it was, showing off the art. Venice was smart. They were investing in money. They knew.
Yeah.
That's the big difference, I think, because when people come in, the tours and they ask me, but Florence, the Renaissance. Well, yeah, we had a different type of Renaissance. It's the economical Renaissance, let's call it.
Yeah. But this was a secret that was not a secret. Venice, so the first secret of such a success is the constant movement of people, ideas, knowledge coming from everywhere. Can you imagine something, anything more Venetian than a gondola? No, of course. But gondolas were not made by Venetian, but the inhabitants of the Cadore Mountains.
Of course, from the Alps.
Also, for example, Titian, the painter, was not born in town, but he was exactly coming from that side of the mountains.
Yes.
But we cannot separate him and his painter, by the idea of a Venetian painting. Ships were made by the Lucchesi. The banks were largely managed by Florentines. The masters of a prestigious Venetian pastry school, I Scaleteri, came came indifferently from the Swiss grisons. They all were coming from Swiss. Don't ask me why, but it was like this. And then, the Fonteghi
Sì,
warehouse
yeah.
house, for Turkish people, for Germans people, but there were also other for Arabs, for Persians.
And this was typical of just Venice, wasn't it? This idea of kind of allowing other countries to come into your city, do business as long as they paid your taxes.
Yeah, yeah. I think in this huge form, yes, because there were also Albanians, Armenians, Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
So Venice opened his door when the rest of Europe is going to close to them, expelling them or constrict them to convert to a forced conversion. In 1516, it was created the first ghetto in the world. Ghetto is a Venetian word.
I know, don't spoil it because I'm actually having Luisella talking about the ghetto in the next couple of episodes. Okay. So let's not spoil it and leave it for a bit in suspense.
Okay, nothing more. Okay, only let me only add that was, yes, a place of nocturnal imprisonment.
Yes,
indubitably, but also it was not a place of torture. It was, and also a place. It became very fastly a place of exchange, cultural exchange. Stop.
Well, let's say it was a primate, a record, a first of something not so good in certain ways, but better in other ways. Let's say for
and then the Dalmatians and the Schiavoni that were the loyal soldiers of the Serenissima. They were of Slavic origin. The Greek community of Venice that is still very present in town. And Venice is still home of a Greek Orthodox metropolis in Italy. In San Giorgio dei Greci is the church, is the oldest Greek church in the West.
Okay, this I didn't know. Okay, that's another first.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And then remaining in two words, Lazzaretto.
Oh, yes.
And quarantine are Venetian words.
Yes.
And
we have the quarantine is very, both Lazarus and quarantine are very important because it was the first time, I mean, literally that the system of, isolating people.
All of us experimented, during the COVID-19 lockdowns, the quarantine, the lockdown, But the quarantine was not exactly invented in Venice, but in Ragusa.
Yes.
A few decades before, but Ragusa had been a Venetian colony for centuries.
Okay. This I was missing. I didn't realize. So it was Venice too then. Okay.
Yeah. And was perfected by Venetians, and quarantine is also in Italian language, the word is quarantena. And if I have to tell to you, in Venetian, that I spent 40 days, in a place, but the quarantine has a duration of 40 days, I would say you I have spent una quarantena di giorni in Venetian.
Esatto.
So it's really Venetian, absolutely Venetian language. And they were the 40 days taken from the Bible, the time Jesus
I wonder why it was 40 days.
In the desert before beginning his come si dice la predicazione?
The preaching.
Yeah,
when he went to preach.
So before everything started, Anyway, The first lazzaretti in the world were created in Venice, or better, in the lagoon. The first one, the old Lazaret, the Lazzaretto Vecchio in 1423, and the second one in 1468.
And the word was coming from Nazareth originally, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the Lazzaretto Vecchio, there was a church, Santa Maria di Nazareth, and was called so also Nazaretum. In Venice, sometimes happens when words became, I don't know.
They're too long to say. We shorten.
Yeah, but it's Lazarus, you know.
Yes.
So still from the Bible, the friends of Jesus Christ who died because of a sickness. Cos'era? Che non mi ricordo più.
La lepra. Lepers. Yeah,
Yeah.
leper.
And so this Bible figure and the Nazaretum church became Lazaretum together. Oh, okay. Let's go on, because another word used in the whole world coming from Venice is arsenal.
Oh yes, of course.
The Venetian one was founded in 1104. Was the very first assembly line in history.
Still standing. Let's remember. Let's remind people it's still standing, strong.
An armed warship could be assembled in 12 hours.
Okay, let's see. I could never remember how long it took them. 12 hours. Gee. Yeah. Wow. They can't even build.
within its walls, there were more than 16,000 workers.
Hey, Alberto, let's compare Ponte di Calatrava. How long it took to build?
No.
Okay, let's forget about that. Wow. Okay, in 12 hours it could be. I didn't realize that. I knew it was fast, but didn't realize it was so fast.
Okay, and a last word, very very funny, is regatta.
Oh yes.
No, it's coming from Venice. Or just to give a site somewhere else, the architecture of Andrea Palladio is actually the most influential architect in all of history.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, his architecture is all over the world today.
Well, in America, absolutely.
Oh, hey, yeah, the White House.
Yeah, and you forgot one word that you told me. Well, actually two, but one that you told me the other day that I did. I mean, I remember already somewhere, but then I could totally forget. You remind me. Ballot.
Oh yeah. Well, but let's wait.
Okay, you were waiting. Wait. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, carry on.
Okay, eyeglasses are supposed to have been invented in Venice, but we are not sure. It's only, we have not historical documents that prove.
Well, I remember reading somewhere that there is a mention of it. Somewhere,
but not the, come si dice, the smoking gun.
Yes, not the proof.
In spite of this, we know for more centrally that the mirror was invented in Murano in 1540.
Ah, okay.
If you think to some frescoes of Pompeii, you could say me, but I can see mirror there, They are not really mirrors as we intended them, because they were metal, very, very polished metal.
Okay.
Not a glass flat surface, a real image of ourselves, So from that moment onwards, 1540, everyone was able to see themselves exactly as they were. And this is going to change forever our self-perception,
Yes, of course. And of course, from there also, I can imagine why also makeup became so famous in Venice.
So when you look at yourself in the mirror every morning,
you realize you're not as good.
A Venetian invention.
Oh gosh, and you realize, oh gosh, I don't look so good as I thought I did. I better take some.
Let's go on. 1611, the Venetian doctor Santorio invented the thermometer for human.
Seriously?
Yeah. First time in history used it on sick people to measure their temperature.
Oh, and we've using mercury on it.
Oh, yes, of course.
Wow, you already understood how to use it. Wow, I'm impressed. I didn't
Yeah.
know.
Venice
Okay.
opened to the world the first public gambling house, 1638.
Mm-hmm.
And a year before, you know, how can I say it? Sold the first ticket for in the history for a spectacle. It was a concert, the Andromeda by Francesco Manelli.
Ah, okay, yes.
The first time at the theater of San Cassiano,
Yes.
but no more existing.
Yeah, but we're
But
trying to
yeah, there is a
give to you,
committee that
so
is
let's
trying
hope.
to rebuild it.
Let's hope.
Hope where they can get it, you know.
Yeah.
Also, this, such use of a ticket that it's apparently quite ordinary, but dramatically changed forever.
Yes, of course.
Canons of composition,
Mm-hmm.
because from that moment onwards, every musician was constricted to measure up to the taste of the audience,
Of course.
not to the taste of the prince, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
but I want to say something more, because even when you sit at the theater and to attend a show, you choose whether to sit in the stalls or in the gallery.
Mm-hmm.
Do it because the Venetians conceived their theater in this way.
Ah, okay.
And
Didn't know.
now let's go. Venice invented an electoral system.
Okay, that's it. Here we go.
As I think everyone knows, the Doge was voted by the nobleman. He was elected by people in his same condition.
Let's say it could be compared, let's say, to the equivalent of today's president of a country.
Yeah.
Okay, so people can understand, because I realize
Yes,
sometimes
it
it's not
was.
easy
Yeah,
for somebody that maybe doesn't have a background in history and stuff like that to understand what a Doges is.
yeah.
Since Venice was a republic, it was the
Yeah. And
equivalent
there
of
was a kind of
president.
parliament, that Maggior Consiglio.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a democracy,
Mm-hmm.
we
Well,
said, but it was.
not as we conceive it today, let's say.
Yeah. But the electoral system was refined before the year 1000
Okay.
and perfected and shaped in its established form in 1297.
Okay.
And for about both 1,000 years,
Mm-hmm.
it runs, and when two of the oldest democracies in our recent history, the American and the French one, when once their respective revolution were completed, when they decided to adopt an electoral system, where did they go to find it? They come to Venice to start the one in use for centuries. And we still find traces of it, in the French word ballotage, that's used for the election of a president of a republic, or in the English word ballot box. That they are both derived from the use of baiote. Balls is a Venetian word. They were balls, silver and golden balls that randomly were used to randomly reduce the number of voters. When the American elections are taking place every 4 years, we also are accustomed to hear to this definition, the grand electors.
Yes.
And also this is a full, I think, a full application of part of a Venetian electoral system, because they have an incredible power, They are expression of their state, but constitutionally they could vote the reverse of the expression voted of their states, of their own states. It's something very, very complicated.
Yeah, of
They
course.
also are expression, application of the ancient Venetian electoral system,
But because I was reading somewhere that also the American Constitution is in a way based on the Venetian Constitution. So it's not just the electoral system, but the old Constitution, or at least some articles.
Traces of it. Yeah.
I was reading that. And also somewhere, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe it was in your list of primates, that the patent law, the American patent law, is based on the Venetian patent.
The first one in the world is Venetian.
Ecco, I remember. I was reading some. Yeah. And the first Venetian in Manhattan was Venetian. Italian, the first Italian.
From Lido.
The first Italian. There is a plaque somewhere in
it's down in Battery Park, I think.
Okay. See, we're number one everywhere. Yeah, should have been number one. Numero uno.
Allora, let me tell you, I'll say one last number one is, for example, the first film festival in the history.
Oh yes, of course.
August 1932. So the first come dire, award is the Oscar. Is 1998, but the Oscar award are not a festival, of course, because there are no projections of movie. So the first movie film festival, is the Venice one.
Film festival.
And let me tell you, probably conclude, because it's half an hour we are speaking about.
It's okay. You go 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Don't worry. I told you. You keep going. I'll cut you off somewhere.
Let me tell you something about Venice and women.
Oh, yes. Oh, no. Let's not do this. Let's do a show about Venice and women. Come on. Let's do another episode about Venice and women. Just give me a little bit of a hint, but let's do another episode on this. Dedicated. Now, come on, you can't leave 5 minutes for women. We deserve half an hour at least.
You're right. I agree.
So just give a hint.
Let me only tell one word only on one of them. Of Elena Lucrezia.
Yes, of course.
Okay, Elena Lucrezia Cornell-Piscopia. The first graduate women, of course, alas, graduate in the world, 1678. She was Venetian.
Yes, and she wanted to become a doctor, but they didn't allow her, did they?
She was graduating in philosophy.
Yeah, exactly. But I was reading somewhere that she wanted, or maybe I read wrong, but she wanted to be a doctor, but they wouldn't allow it because she was a woman. So they allow her.
No, I have different information.
Oh, okay. So I repeat, I read wrong. So you are the expert, no?
To take her degree in theology. But was too much at the time for a woman. So she chose philosophy.
Okay, that is along the line, let's say. and finally, Padova, the University of Padova finally is giving her some recognition, right? After so many centuries.
Yeah.
It took a while, didn't it?
Yeah. And we end this conversation with the last Venetian word that everyone uses in the world.
Yeah, go on. The most famous, I suppose.
Yeah, I think. Ciao.
Yes, that's the one I was thinking. Yes. Go on, you'll explain it, because I always get it wrong.
I think you're very very passionate listener, already know it. But the word ciao, when you greet each other with a ciao, you are speaking like the Venetian of a few centuries ago. Ciao is nothing other than the shortening of schiavo vostro, that was your slave. Obsequious greeting, very much in vogue at the time of the Serenissima. And so it's pretty funny, because when you say ciao to another person, you are declaring yourself their slave.
Yeah, you say at your service in a way. So
of course, it's not a form of submission. It's a sign of respect.
It's funny.
There is no violence in a ciao.
But isn't it funny how this greeting just now is used by practically everybody in the world? Even people that don't speak Italian. That's the only probably word that everybody knows.
It's very funny. And so everyone in the world, when say ciao, is speaking ancient Venetian.
Yeah. And I got one for you, but probably you say it's wrong. I don't know. But I read this somewhere years ago. The first miniskirt.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. The first
Yes.
miniskirt is not
Also,
Mary Quaint. It
yeah,
is
yeah.
The Venetian courtesans.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
but we
yeah.
save this for the episode about women then.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
When
Okay.
we're talking about what Venetian women managed to do in Venice for 1600 years.
Okay.
Oh, well, listen, and the most important part, that Venice was one of the longest running republics ever.
Oh, yes. Until now, yes. Let's wait 7 or 8 centuries, and we will let's see if someone.
Well, I don't know. You always have San Marino say they're longer anyway. So
Yeah,
let's
maybe.
say one of the longest.
Well, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, listen, Alberto, definitely want to have you back soon for talking about women, because I don't think people talk enough about Venetian women, or at least what Venetian women managed to do through the centuries. And it was nice talking to you. Thank you, because I know you're always running around. You're so busy between TV, right? When's the next book coming out?
Oh, I don't know. So for sure, in the next month.
Oh, see, okay, I
But
knew you had one coming.
there will be new books, and also probably, I hope, the translation of other books. For example, Venice by Numbers.
Mm-hmm.
That's a book printed in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And in which there are many of the informations I just gave you.
I know. It's a beautiful book. I took it
And
to the seaside, and I was reading like, woo, like that.
probably soon translated into English during the
Oh,
year. Yeah.
fantastic. Oh, that's great news. And I really do think we need to push the publisher. We need to push the publisher. You need to go worldwide with these books. Alberto, thanks again, and speak to you soon for another episode then. Thank you.
Okay.
Ciao, ciao.
Grazie, Monica.
Ciao,
Ciao. Ciao a
ciao.
tutti.
Thank you again, Alberto, for the lovely chat, and we can't wait to have you back on the podcast for some more fun facts about Venice. You can find Alberto on www.albertotosofei.it and on all social medias as Alberto Toso Fei. Thank you again for listening. Venice Talks podcast is a production of Sentire Media, created, produced, and hosted by me, Monica Cesarato. Follow Venice Talks wherever you get your podcast, and if you want to book a food tour or a cooking experience with me, you can find me over at www.monicacesarato.com and on all social medias with the handle @monicacesarato, where you can follow my adventures around Venice. And don't forget, if you love this episode, please rate it and leave a review. It's very much appreciated.
Sentire Media.
Hey, podcast producers and show hosts. Do you want to join a podcast network that celebrates all things Italian? At Sentire Media, we understand the allure of Italy and its unique culture. Our devoted team of hosts and producers are all driven by their shared passion for Italy. And we work tirelessly to create the best lifestyle podcasts and content that will whisk you away to the very heart of Italy. With us, you can savor the mouth-watering flavors, get lost in the stories from the past, break down the cultural barriers, and truly immerse yourself in the vibrant traditions of this intoxicating country. If you have a great podcast idea or are already in production and would like to join Sentire Media, head over to sentiremedia.com, that's SENTIRE media.com, and find out how to submit your show.